to dissolve the interest in the mental dialogue and to disengage from the thoughts that are arising. For inquiry in general, it's really important to notice that thoughts only appear as words, as language. And second, that thoughts are only interpretations, judgments, and projections about experiences. And I'll explain why it's important to acknowledge both of these things. Language, first and foremost, is very, very personal. At the heart of language, words, is personal identity. So it's really important to just contemplate, ponder, as what is this speaking? You know, when the thought arises, as what is this thought speaking? It's speaking as a person, as a thing, in time, in space, that has this to worry about, that has this problem to solve, that has this achievement to gain, this stuff to protect. The moment you acknowledge that at the heart of language, words, talking in silent, right? Before the mental talking becomes spoken word, it itself is just, words in the mind, in here. It's important to realize that at the heart of it is just personality, belief in myself as a so-and-so, becoming something, gaining something, losing something. So the moment you acknowledge this, you can right then and there become aware of the assumption that I am that so-and-so for whom this is relevant. And in that moment of awareness, you just drop that identity. The moment you drop that identity, the moment you drop the belief in I am a so-and-so, I am a person, the language, the words become irrelevant. Because it is usually that whatever the words are saying means something to what? To the idea you have of yourself. It means something to that personal identity. There's something to protect, or there's something to gain, or there's something that, is being threatened. Therefore, the mental dialogue becomes almost addictive, and it's like, how do I disengage? Well, in that sort of assumption, it's impossible to disengage, or it's very difficult to disengage. But if you just become aware of the underlying assumption that I am a so-and-so, I am a body, I am a person, and in that moment of awareness, you just, in that, right then and there, just let go of that belief. Just set that belief aside. Now, if there's no personal identity, if I'm not the body, if I am not and you could do this as a working hypothesis here in this moment. If I am not a body, if I am not the mind, I still am, yet I don't know what I am, then what would these bundle of words be relevant for? You see? So acknowledging that at the heart of speaking, at the heart of talking, at the heart of mental dialogue is personal identity. And at least in the moments of inquiry, when you're sitting down and you're contemplating this, or you're sitting in silence, whatever dialogue is appearing then and there, just drop the personal identity, drop the belief in or the assumption in being a person for whom these ideas are relevant for. And instantly you'll experience silence, or you'll be able to better disengage when the thoughts do arise. You'll be able to better practice inquiry, abiding as the seeing, the witnessing of the thoughts arising. Just take a moment to experience what that would feel like right now. When thoughts arise, experience how you engage with them, like you are this body looking at these thoughts, or the body within which these thoughts are happening. Just drop that assumption. Your direct experience is there's awareness. Your direct experience is not, oh, I, this body, am aware. That is the assumption. Your direct experience is there is awareness, within which the body, the experience of the body, and these thoughts is appearing. All you need to let go is just dropping the assumption that it is the body that is aware, that you, that which is aware, is something. Automatically the thoughts become irrelevant and easily disengaged from. Now, the second thing to be recognized, as I said earlier, is thoughts, right? These words that are arising are all just interpretations, judgments, and projections about experience. They have really nothing to do with the actual experience. There's your direct experience, which is the sensations and the feelings and the images and the, right, all these visuals, these sounds, these senses. Thoughts themselves are an experience, but thoughts are different in that way because thoughts have a very intimate sort of me speaking type quality. And the story of the thoughts is what usually captivates us. Thoughts appear just like, let's say, the sound of that car outside of your house going, right? The sound coming in and going out. And that sound appears in consciousness and it leaves consciousness, subsides. But you don't really get so captivated by it. But thoughts have a very captivating quality because they sort of have this storying effect. The sensation is the fact. Even the thought, when looked at it from a distance, is the fact, right? It arises and it subsides. But the content of the thought is the storying, the interpretation, the judgment, which has nothing to do with fact. It has nothing to do with actual experience. It is all just further imagining about experience. So it is really important to acknowledge that again, the thought arising, that is fact. It is just equal to the sensation appearing, the sound appearing. But the content of the thought is all just interpretation and judgment and storying, which again is all personal identity. As what is the interpreting happening? What is at the heart of the interpreting? That personal identity. I am a so-and-so having this opinion about this. I am a so-and-so for whom this experience means this, and it will lead to this. And this has happened in the past, so this is what usually it will turn into in the future. Right? Again, now past and future come into play. The actual thought is just here and now. It arises in the now, in the timeless knowing, whereas the content of the thought creates the appearance of a past, present, future, of a journeying, of a getting something and getting somewhere. And this is the captivating element. This is the reinforcing of personal identity, of the belief in mind. In acknowledging this, you can simply, again, drop the belief here and now that I am a so-and-so. I am a somebody. I am a body. I am a mind. Just in that moment, as even a working hypothesis, if I am none of this stuff, then what am I? Because I'm still here. You see, that little, you can't even call it an adjustment, but let's call it so. That adjustment makes the interpretation, the storying, absolutely irrelevant. And now again, there's silence. There's, right, the experience of being comes into the foreground. So this is something to really implement now. Maybe watch this video again and try to understand and experience what the pointers were really pointing you today. Experience again and again how the actual thought is a fact, but the content of the thought is the captivating element which reinforces personal identity. Drop this identity of being a so-and-so, and the storying will automatically be irrelevant and it will vanish. It will no longer gain that support from you. And right, as the first point that we discussed, acknowledge that it's all just language. And at the heart of language is needing to be a so-and-so that has these opinions and these words. Again, in that moment, just drop that belief and it will disappear. And the disengagement becomes easy. Inquiry becomes simple. Now, obviously, to take care of your day-to-day affairs and to do your work and all that stuff, and when we speak in this way, yeah, obviously language is for that purpose. So it has its right place, right time, and its function. But what it has become now, the psychological chatter, the personal identity, that is that element taken out of, or blown out of proportion, taken, fully out of control. So this is what you're now just bringing back to balance. So for those who are right away saying, but how do I practice this during the day if I'm working or this or that? Just relax. At least learn to see this when you're just by yourself and you're in silence, you're practicing, or you're sitting in meditation. Start seeing it during those times, and how to bring this to your actual day will start to make sense. And lastly, if you would like more help with this, you can check out our free classes down below, or you could also check out my self-inquiry school, in which I work with you personally to help you dissolve mind identification and awaken to your true nature. So I hope this video helped you today, and I will see you next time.